You serious?
Hello and welcome to another episode of How to Kill an Hour. I'm Marcus. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm Sean.
Yes, and this is and this is the show where Sean and I, listen, we have a little bit of fun. We go on the internet, we look for some funnies, yeah? We talk about new ways to kill time, which we've got some very interesting ones coming up this week. Bit more techie this week.
A little bit
More techie this week. And yeah, we also have a little catch up with us ourselves, isn't it? Little catch up, me and you.
Yeah.
Find out how we're doing. How you doing this week?
I'm good. I shouldn't complain.
Great.
I could. A lot, but I shouldn't. What about yourself, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I think I've seen a meme somewhere where it's like, when someone asks you in the UK how you're doing, you should never really answer.
Right.
Like if you're an American over here, they don't really want to know. You just got to say, everything's all right, crack it on. But before we kick off the show, we've got some shout outs, Sean. We've got any shout outs this week?
We have a shout out. This is to Linda in Thailand, who watches our pod, and that is from your other half's cousin, Alex. Big shout out to you, Linda.
Big up the Thailand crew. Shout out to you, man. Probably having the best weather or better weather than us right now, I presume.
I'm guessing so.
Yeah.
I think that at any point of the year, you could probably say that and you would probably be all right.
Do us a favour, Linda. Just send a few rays of sunshine over to us, please, if that's okay. And
keep the monsoon rains.
Yeah, we don't want that.
We're good for those.
Don't want
we're
that.
Good.
Don't
We're
want-
all right for those.
I'd even take a monsoon if it's warm, though. if it's wet and warm, I'm in. Yeah? I'm just saying that, innit?
Yeah.
Get me?
In general.
Anyway, right. Shall we crack on with our jokes of the week, Sean?
Do that.
Time for our jokes.
Of the week.
Would you like to go first, Sean? Or shall I? It's totally up to you.
Go for it.
All right, cool.
Go for it.
This one goes out to, there's been a lot of talk about gorillas and men like having fights and stuff. And do you remember the original one was, would you rather be in a woods with a bear or a man? So this kind of reminds me of that. Right.
Wait. What was that one?
It was like, would you rather be in the woods with a bear or a man? And a lot of women were quite, and I think fairly said that they'd rather be in the woods with a bear than a random man, because at least with a bear, you know what you're getting. But a random dude is like, they pick the bear every time. Because if you think about it, if I get mauled by a bear, or I know what a bear's going to do in it, it's either going to try and kill me or not. But a guy, if you're in a woods with another random guy and you're a woman, it's creepy.
I know.
Because you're all right. You're thinking of you. It's not you in the woods. It's a random dude.
I mean, the random dude could,
Yeah.
I don't know what he's about, but
Exactly.
if he's twisted, I don't want to be in the woods with him. either.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
It's a tough one though, isn't it? Because it's almost like the bear will 100% want to kill and murder you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a 100% chance that the man will though.
Yeah.
There's a very small chance that he might not.
Very small chance, yeah.
Which is I'm laughing about, but unfortunately, in the world we live in nowadays.
How about we just don't go in the woods? There we go. Or don't be in the woods alone. I think that would be the option, but that's not an option in that, innit? You can't
Just adding in an option 3, yeah.
Adding a whole option,
Just going in to mess up everyone's debate, innit?
What have you done to the show, Linda? See what you've done? You ruined it. You did it. No, joking. Right, okay, let's crack on then. Two men are hiking in the woods and they see a bear. The bear is really mad, so they start running because it's chasing them. The first man says, how are we going to outrun this bear? The second one goes, by running as fast as you can. Now, the first guy goes, don't you know how fast bears go? They're way faster than humans. There's no way we can outrun it. The other guy goes, that's okay. And he runs even harder. The first guy says, why? The other guy says over his shoulder as he starts to speed up, I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you.
Oh, you're classic.
Classic.
Do you know what? I enjoyed your telling of that one. So you really got involved in that one. I like some action shots in there and everything.
I was jogging. Oh, that's jokes, man. All right.
A little girl asks her father, what is sex? The father thinks, this is the day I tell my little princess everything about sex. He sits down and explains sex, including sexual intercourse, conception, sperms, eggs, ovulation, menstruation, the whole lot. Then the little girl asks Daddy, what's a couple? And he explains that it means two people engaging in sex. Finally, he asks the little girl, why do you want to know about a couple and sex? She answered, Mummy said that lunch will be ready in a couple of secs.
Yes. Oh, man.
Swerve that combo.
He could have saved that chat for another day. He didn't. That's a great... I like that. Guy walks into a bar looking a bit down. A regular sees him and says, "Hey, are you doing all right?" "I'm doing terrible," the guy says. "I'm having money troubles and the only option I got left is to sell my beloved dog. So now I'm just travelling around town asking if anyone wants to buy him off me. He's in the car right now." "I'm sorry to hear that," says the regular. "What are you asking for him?" $500, the man says. "Whoa, that's a lot of money for a dog," says the regular. "Well, it's like this dog's a part of my family. He's the gentlest, sweetest dog you've ever seen. He never barks unless there's an intruder, in which case he turns into the meanest SOB that ever lived. When he needs to go, he'll just nudge your leg once or twice and then sit by the door and wait till you're ready to let him out. My kids and wife love him and they're going to hate me for selling him, but I don't have any other options." The regular says, "Well, geez, if the dog's that good, I guess I'll take him then. I'll be happy to help you out a bit as well. Look, here's $500. Say no more." A year later, the man that sold the dog walks into the same bar. This time the regular's still there. And he screams at the guy, "You sold me an absolute lemon. This dog is useless. That dog does nothing but sheet all over the house. He barks constantly, tries to bite my wife and kid every chance he gets. I swear to God, the day I bought that dog was the last good day I ever had." The man looks at the regular and says, "Mister, you ain't ever going to sell that dog if you keep talking about him like that." Did you see it coming? Did you see that one? I loved it. Sorry, that was a struggle to read, but that was funny.
A guy gets pulled over for speeding. The cop says to the man, "Do you know you were speeding, sir?" "No, officer, I didn't." The wife then says, "Come on, Henry, you knew you were speeding. I've been telling you to slow down for miles." The man shoots a dart look at his wife and the cop says, "Well, since I've got you pulled over, do you know that the tag on your license plate's expired?" "Oh, no, sir. I wasn't aware of that." The wife says, "Oh, please, Henry. I've been telling you to go and get it up to date for 2 months now." The husband grinds his teeth but keeps silent. The cop then adds, "And I noticed that your left rear light wasn't working either." "Oh, yes, I was on my way to get that changed, actually." The wife says, "Nonsense. We were going home. You kept saying it doesn't need to be changed, that the other drivers can see you well enough anyway." The man explodes with anger. "Will you shut your goddamn pie hole?" The cop walks over to the woman's side of the car and asks her, "Does he always talk to you in this way?" "Oh, no, officer. Only when he's been drinking." Oh, I shouldn't have married a rat, bro.
Oh, man. A man walks into a bar with a small dog under his arm and sits down at the counter, placing the dog on a stool next to him. The bartender says, "Sorry, pal, no dogs allowed." The man says, "But this is a special dog. He talks." "Yeah, right," says the bartender. "Now get him out of here before I throw you out." "No," says the man. "Wait, I'll prove it." He turns to the dog and asks, "What do you normally find on top of a house?" "Roof," says the dog, wagging his tail. "Listen, pal," says the bartender. "Wait," says the man. Wait. I'll ask him another question. He turns to the dog and says, "What's the opposite of soft?" "Rough," says the dog. "Quit wasting my time and get out of here," says the bartender. Wait. One more chance, please, the man. Turning again to the dog, he says, "Who was the greatest baseball player that ever lived?" "Ruth," barks the dog. FYI, Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, thank you for the guys that don't know. "Okay, that's it," says the bartender, and physically throws both the man and the dog out of the door onto the street. Whilst the bartender waits outside to make sure they don't come back in, he sees the dog turn into the man and goes, "Maybe I should have said Joe DiMaggio."
Oh, that's a good one.
And thanks for the Babe Ruth thing, bruv, because you know.
To be honest with you, I know like a handful of baseball players over the whole of history.
Babe Ruth, you got to know it, Joe DiMaggio. Yeah. I was trying to I looked at it, and I was like, it's like, is this gonna be? Is this gonna be the right kind of baseball player? But yeah, thank you for that. Ruth.
That's a good one.
It is.
All right. I bombed my test to become the safety coordinator at a nuclear power plant. They asked me, "What are the steps you'd take if a reactor coolant alarm went off?" Apparently, very large ones wasn't the answer that they were looking for.
I love interview jokes. They're the best. Oh man,
did we get any more?
We've had a couple things that have come in, but I want to collate and squeeze it together because I think we've been dropping them here and there. All right, cool. A guy walks into a bar and goes to the bartender. Can I have a free beer if I show you something amazing? The bartender agrees, so the guy pulls out a hamster who begins dancing and singing a marvellous tune in a fantastic voice. That is amazing, says the bartender, and he gives the guy a free beer. Look, if I show you something else amazing, will you give me another beer? The bartender agrees, so the guy pulls out a small piano and a frog. The hamster jumps on the piano and starts playing, and then the frog dances and sings. The bartender is completely wowed, so he gives the guy another free beer. A man in a suit who's been watching the entire time offers to buy the frog for $10. The guy says, all right. Are you nuts, says the bartender. You could have made a fortune off that singing frog. Can you keep a secret, asks the man. Sure, says the barman. The man leans over the bar and whispers, the hamster's a ventriloquist.
I didn't see.
Silly joke.
Didn't see that coming.
Silly one.
Little Johnny.
Hey! Sorry.
I'm not going to lie, I'm going to put it out there. No, I'm just going to do it.
Just do it.
Little Johnny comes home from school with a note from his teacher indicating that Johnny seems to be having some difficulty with the difference between boys and girls. And his mother wants him to sit down and have a talk. So Johnny's mother takes him quietly by the hand upstairs to her bedroom, closes the door. First, Johnny, I want you to take off my blouse. So he unbuttons her blouse and takes it off. Okay, now I want you to take off my skirt. And he takes off her skirt. And now take off my bra, which he does. And now, Johnny, please take off my panties. And when Johnny finishes removing those, she says, Johnny, please don't wear any of my clothes to school anymore. I was initially going to warn you because it sounds like it's going to be extremely sus, isn't it? So.
I love that joke, man. I love that. Right. A husband and wife love to golf together, but neither of them are playing like they want to, so they decide to take private lessons. The husband has his lesson first, and the pro sees him swing and goes, no. You're gripping the club way too hard. Well, what should I do? Asked the man. Hold the club gently, said the pro, just like you'd hold your wife's bosoms. The man takes the advice, takes a swing, and hits the ball 250 yards straight up the fairway. The man goes back to his wife with the good news, and his wife can't wait for her lesson. The next day she goes, and the pro watches her swing and goes, nah, you're gripping the club way too hard. What can I do? Asked the wife. Hold the club gently, just like you're holding your husband's penis. The wife listens carefully to the pro's advice, takes a swing and thump, the ball goes straight down the fairway about 250 yards. That was great, says the pro. Now, take the club out of your mouth and swing it like you're supposed to.
Oh, damn it, I didn't see that one.
You didn't know what coming. Hey, that was a good one. I thought you liked that one as well. I thought that was a treat, that one.
I will say this as well.
Yeah, go on.
The whole, it's so weird that the whole gripping the club tightly in golf thing has been like a myth for the longest time, and now it's being dispelled.
Is it a thing?
Yeah, like not gripping the club too tight, but it's anyway. It's not very interesting.
How's Killing Out, a golf podcast?
Two hookers were on a street corner. When they saw a cop drive by, one turns to the other and says, have you ever been picked up by the fuzz? The other says, no, but I got swung round by my tits once.
Oh my God. I did not see that.
So dumb.
Oh man. A drunk guy came into an interview at a beer company. The company boss immediately disliked him. But since he was there, he had to conduct the interview. The boss asked the secretary to bring some beer. The drunk guy smelled it and immediately told them every single ingredient with the perfect amounts. The boss still didn't like the guy, so he asked his secretary to bring something else to drink, but before she left, he slipped her a note that asked her to pee in a glass. So the secretary did just that and brought it back in for the guy. After taking a smell, the drunk guy turns to the secretary and says, 26, female and 3 months pregnant. And then he turned to the owner of the beer company and said, if you don't give me a job, I'll tell your wife who the real dad is. Savage, mate. Yeah, there you go. Got there in the end.
A guy has a crush on a girl. The only problem is that every time he sees her, he gets a raging boner. After some great effort.
Sorry. Tell me about it.
After some great effort, he manages to finally sit down near her during a party and strike up a conversation. They hit it off and he asks to see a movie with her the next day. Fearing he won't be able to control himself, he decides to strap his penis to his leg. The next day, he arrives at her door early and rings the bell. The girl answers the door in her underwear and he kicks her in the face.
Please tell me that's the joke, because that's amazing. I hope you like this one. This is very. I think this is very you, Sean, in terms of like. I think like you're like this. Like, let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right, guys. I could be wrong.
Oh, do you know what? Oh,
Is there more? Is there more?
No. Okay.
A man goes to his barber and whilst getting his haircut, they have a conversation. The barber says, "Got any vacation plans?" The customer goes, "Yeah, me and my wife are going to Italy." Oh, that's bullshit, the barber barks. Italy's totally overrated. Why do you want to go anyway? I went and it's terrible. The food's awful. The Romanesque architecture is old and dirty. The people are rude and aloof. The weather's too hot or it's too rainy. And when I tried to see the Pope, I could barely make out the top of his head through the millions of people in St. Peter's Square. The customer is surprised by the barber's visceral reaction and sheepishly states that he already bought the ticket, so he still has to go. A couple of months later, the customer is back in the barber's chair. "Hey, aren't you the guy that went to that crappy country called Italy?" "Yeah, and we actually had a great time," said the customer. "The food was better than I imagined. The architecture was breathtaking and awe-inspiring, and the people were really polite and friendly. The weather was beautiful, perfectly sunny and warm and no rain. And when we went to see the Pope, I could barely make out the top of his head through the millions of people in St. Peter's Square. But gradually, the sea of people parted as if by magic, and I could see the Pope walking toward me with his gold scepter. And when he got close enough to me to be heard, I dropped to one knee, took off my hat, and he said, 'Who gave you that awful haircut?'"
That's dumb, but I love that. A wealthy lady hired a band and a caterer and a clown for her granddaughter's birthday party. Shortly before the party was due to start, two bums showed up looking for a handout. Feeling sorry for them, the lady promised them a free meal if they would chop some wood out back. Gratefully, they went to the rear of the house. The guests arrived, the party got underway, and all of the children were having a wonderful time. The only problem was that the clown hadn't arrived, and soon he phoned to say that he was stuck in traffic and wouldn't be able to get there in time. Disappointed, the lady tried valiantly to entertain the children herself, but she was a poor substitute. Just then, she happened to look out the window and saw one of the bums doing cartwheels across the back lawn. She watched in awe as he swung from tree branch to tree branch, doing mid-air flips, jumping high in the air. So she went outside and said to the other bum, "What your friend is doing is absolutely marvellous. I have never seen such a thing. Do you think he would consider repeating this performance for the children at the party? I would pay him $75. I don't know, said the bum. Let me ask him. Hey, Willie, for $75, would you chop off another toe? It's a bit of a long walk for a short swim, though.
Literally, that is a long walk for a short. I like that, bro. All right. Were our jokes
of the week.
Now, Sean, I have been doing a lot of reaching around. Wild use of words, isn't it? That's a wild. So, I caught myself there
this week. How was your reach around?
That's how I've been killing time. That's it. Yeah, I've been.
It's an interesting pastime.
I feel like I'm a bit dehydrated. Yeah, I've got to say, zinc really does make a difference in your diet. All right. No, so Sean, I've been looking at some quintessentially British things, and I've found top ways to be passive aggressive.
Oh, all right.
Or these are some of the top ways to be passive aggressive. British edition. I'll run through them and then we can discuss shortly, Sean, if that's okay with you. Writing as per my last email in a work message. Commenting, "Oh, you're brave," on someone's bold fashion choice. Starting a sentence with, "I'm not being funny, but..." pointedly tapping your contactless car on a bar or a till. That's quite annoying though, isn't it, for the bar person? Saying, yeah, if that's what you want to do, yeah. Which of those do you think you've done the most recently?
There's a couple more to add to that.
Really? Really? Oh, please do.
For a house share, Post-it notes.
Sean,
Post-it notes are like the most passive-aggressive thing that you can do if you live with someone.
I thought I took that off. I was gonna say that, and I thought you might be like, oh, I thought that was just me that hates.
No,
oh yeah,
that's a real one.
What about a post-it note that says to do something that's like that you would already do? So close cupboard on the closed cupboard. So you've closed the cupboard. It says close this cupboard.
I'm not gonna lie, for me, I'd be like, oh, glad that was there. These post-it notes are super useful. Yeah.
Oh, go on then. Is there a specific one? All right. Are there some cases where it's okay? How about at work, but you don't want someone to eat your food? So it says Sean's lunch. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool,
yeah,
cool,
that's cool. Especially if previously it was like a Terry Tate moment. Remember the Terry office linebacker? Yeah. It's one of those moments. Yeah, that's different. No one's. If my food went missing, I just post-it notes are coming out.
Yeah. Just putting it on other people's lunch. Don't eat Sean's food,
right?
Yeah.
There would be very little wall left, and it would be mainly yeah.
All right.
Of those ones.
So what's a? I feel like post-it notes is out of those that's hit you hard. But like, what would you say is the most annoying post-it note that someone could put out then?
Oh. It would be something, as you said, it would be something simple that you would be like, yes, of course, I know, I already do that. It would be something.
Make sure kettle has water in before turning it on.
Yeah. Please turn hob off after cooking.
I had a post-it moment at uni, right? Where enough time has passed where I think I can't go to jail for this. I'm overly dramatising what I'm about to say. I had a flat where it was 7 people, right? And then 7 people we made enough rubbish every day to fill a bin liner. So I said, should we do a bin rotor? Because I was basically doing the bins all the time. They said, cool. Yeah. And so that's how it worked. So that feeds into this story. But they were really messy. I was like, look, guys, like if we all do cooking and none of us clean, that's a big mess. Yeah. And it's like the place was starting to smell and stuff, right? And we had a dishwasher, bro. That's how we had a dishwasher in it because you got to put it in. So I was like, look, guys, when you cook, just remember like everything's times 7. You put a spoon on the side, 7 spoons, like think like that. Cool. Which is how I presume most logical people think, right? So one day I came in and it was my bin day and the place was like full of smell, flies everywhere, whatever. So I wrote on the bin rotor, look, guys, like please can we like just make sure that we're cleaning stuff up. And then I came back the next day and someone wrote, make me. Bro, it filled me full of so much rage, yeah. But I had nowhere to direct the rage because it's just me and this bit of paper. Well, I can't punch the paper. Yeah, go on, Sean.
I kind of rate it.
Yeah, in a way, looking back, I'm like, you fucker. So do you know what my checkmate was? I took out a fresh bin liner and I just put all the dirty pots and pans in a bin liner and threw them away, bruv.
Aye.
It's dread, innit?
That's where it's got to. No,
and everyone was like, oh, where's my pot? I was like, threw it away. I had to clear up.
Oh, bro, you did the right thing. You know what? This is the thing as well, right? When it comes to living with a load of other people, if you happen to be the tidiest person out of that bunch, that's a tough place to be in because at the end of the day, everything's going to piss you off first, way more than it's going to piss other people off, and then you're going to end up doing it yourself. You are
so right. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this is therapy now because I feel a little bit triggered. But it's like, I get it when it's like, but bro, it was like, I get that there's like, for me, I don't mind mess, right?
Mess
I don't like
dirty.
dirt. Yeah. So like, you know, like in the studio, sometimes I've got boxes here, whatever, like, you know, shout out to Insert Coin, got a couple of teas or whatever, like stuff like that. But it's never dirty and smelly in it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like caked bits of food.
There's not like a plate underneath your desk.
Yeah, oh shit. Oh, sorry. Why have you got to say that? There is now. Why is I'm joking? No. There's not like, but it's like that stuff, dirt really gets to me in it. Like, I don't be as messy as you want, right? Yeah. That's why hoarders, I don't really find them offensive. But if it's like people that hoard dirty plates, stuff's nasty.
No.
So yeah, I was like, so I could take a messy environment, but it was like, yeah, bro, it was smelling flies and stuff like that.
No.
And because we're all like
Maggots
students,
in a bin
yeah, because we're all students, people are buying like a lot of chicken breasts were getting bought because they're easy to cook. And I don't know what it's about students. Like, I'm gonna have chicken curry. A lot of northerners where I was. Yeah, like a lot of chicken breasts. So there's like bits of chicken like caked on plates that flies are going to, the bin stinking. It's, you know, you get sewage smell in the kitchen. Like that don't make me want to eat. No. So yeah, bro, I just dashed everything. And I don't know if everyone learned the lesson because they didn't have pots and pans afterwards to make mess with. Yeah. I
would say probably at that point, the most passive aggressive note would be one in which it just explains something. It would be like, guys, please remember that when the contents of the bin reach the level of the top of the lid, the bin therefore needs to be taken out at that moment. You know, you're one of them ones, and someone's over-explaining something really simple to you, and you're like...
New bin liners are on the right of the sink. Make sure to whack them in the air a couple of times to get some air in them. Yeah. But was I in the wrong, do you think, with my little rotor and stuff? Was I being a bit too...
No, in what I was...
I can change if you need me to.
In what I was doing previously, I had tenants who took stands and they did exactly the same thing as you. I would have got calls to say, I've just arrived home and all of my pots, pans and cutlery are all out in the garden.
Because someone's just dashed them out.
It got to the certain point where they're like, you know, people like yourself sharing with 5-6 other people come back and they can't use any of the pots or plates or anything. And they're like, oh, what? So for me to make my dinner, I need to wash all of your stuff up.
Yeah.
Nope. It's going in the garden.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I rate it.
People get there's a tipping point.
If you live alone, do what you want.
Yeah.
With all due respect, it's crazy. But yeah, look, sorry. I did say before we press record today, I'm feeling a very old man mood. Right. But anyway, those were our passive aggressives of the week. Anything else you want to add to the passive aggressive?
There was some good ones in there.
Yeah, but the post-it note. Because should we think of a passive aggressive thing to do to annoy someone? What's the most annoying post-it note we can have?
Can I just say? I think that's quite a good one for the audience to.
Oh yes,
come back to us on.
Please do send them over to passive aggressive at howtokillannow. To jokes at howtokillannow.com.
Are we going to go specifically?
Specifically, yeah.
Can we go Atlantically for the most passive aggressive post-it note?
Yeah,
we're going to narrow it down to that, not just anything in general. Most passive aggressive post-it note, and we'll
go for it.
We'll go through them, and maybe we'll rank a top 5.
Yeah, man. Linda, it's on you. Yeah, we shouted you out, Linda. You better come with some strength. Right?
Linda from Nongi in Thailand, I believe.
Nongi in Thailand. Yes. You listen.
We want at least 2 from you, if possible.
There we go. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Oh man, I feel like there's a rage in me.
I can tell.
But we had a good slang word, which was back in the day, skeen. Skeen. Scene, innit? Scene. Is it? Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay. Mad.
It's the version of the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool. No doubt. It's like, is it? Scene. You get me? Especially when you're rolling with someone who's an 11 Arifa, you know? They always the one-uppers. Just to clarify, if someone that is an 11 Arifa, if you've been to Tenerife, they've been to 11 Arifa. Right. So, Sean, I have got something that's going to come back for us. And this is...
Oh, no. Did we leave some of the passive-aggressive notes sometime?
Passive-aggressive note of the week. This is Thoughts that leave you scratching your head, part 3.
Okay.
Thoughts that leave you scratching your head, part 3. Why is it a pair of panties, but just one bra?
God, I've got no answer for that.
Why is a fear of long words called hippopotamonstrossesquipedalophobia?
Wait. That's a fucking wind-up, innit? It's got to be a wind-up, innit?
Honestly?
Surely that's a wind-up.
Honestly?
Whoever did that, I want to...
I Googled it, yeah, and if I had to break it down to try and read it, I'll try again. Why is the fear of long words called hippopotamonstrossesquipedalophobia?
Yo, can I just say, that was impressive.
Hippopotamonstross... Oh, I said it wrong.
Bro, you did it. Why did you try and do it again?
Because I did it wrong twice.
Bro, it sounded legit. Like
but if someone comes... Actually, yeah.
Just left it. All right, go for it. Third time lucky.
Why is the fear of long words called hippopotamonstrous quipedaliophobia?
Do you nail it?
Why though? That's mean. That's like dyslexia being hard to spell.
It's yes, exactly that. That's an absolute wind up. It's a wind up, and I'm absolutely here for it.
That's like putting like color blindness is and putting the word in a dictionary as another color that you can't see. Do you know what I mean?
Or like, I don't know, in a Braille dictionary, have the word blind. Just a blank. Wind up. You're like that. You're like that, innit?
Yeah. Yeah. Or the sign for deaf being. What are we doing here?
You're like,
yeah. It's just. Do you know what it is, right? I think scientists worked so hard at their jobs back in the day, their only route of fun was be like, yeah, let's make the names for whatever these things are absolutely horrible.
this is where we have our little moment of fun, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, sorry. Why do we bake cookies and cook bacon? Why do we say sleep like a baby when babies wake up every 2 hours?
Bro, this one winds me up.
I slept like a baby.
And I'm
Is
like,
it? So you shut yourself. You shut yourself. Woke up crying.
I'm like, oh, so you woke up every 2 hours and had to breastfeed in the middle of the night.
Okay, listen, I'm not going to kink shame you. You do you, yeah? But you don't have to share that with everyone, yeah. Why do we call it taking a shower when we're actually giving ourselves one? We're not taking a shower. We're giving ourselves a shower. What do you do? I gave myself a shower. You give yourself a bath.
Yeah, but you also take.
Did you take a bath as well?
You take a bath and you also take a.
But I also don't give.
Sheet.
But I don't give a sheet. But you do.
You don't give a sheet, but you take a sheet.
Yeah, but you do give sheets.
But you can give a sheet.
Yeah, but you can give a sheet. But when you give a sheet, you don't call it giving a sheet. You call it taking a sheet.
Giving a sheet and taking a sheet are two very different things.
So let's do it. Why do they call it taking a sheet when you're actually given one? But when you give a sheet, you take one. What?
Oi, we've just unlocked a new...
If we say that enough times, the world will explode. Right. All right, okay, cool. And the next one is, why do we call it taking a poop when we're actually giving it? Hey! All right.
There we go.
Here's a couple from the audience.
That segue was...
Okay, cool.
Didn't we?
All right, got a couple more for you. These ones aren't as strong, so you might cut them out. How does a dragon blow out a candle? Why is pizza round, come in a square box, and we eat it in triangles? Fair point.
That is a fair point.
And if you're not supposed to eat at night, why is there a light in the fridge? There we go.
I enjoyed those, bro. I enjoyed those.
I've got another one for you that I think you'll like. We will save it for another episode because obviously we've got a lot to talk about with our killer bits this week. But I've got coming up, right? Please don't, can you promise not to research this? Guys, please don't research this. Or maybe you can and send some in. But Sean, please promise that you won't research this if I tell you this, right?
Sure.
Next week coming up, we have sophisticated insults for when you run out of normal swears. I've got, Sean, look at see those that are just listening right now, the look of delight. You look, oh man, the smuggleness is all the promise because please don't, Sean, please don't, because I've got some great ones, man. I've got some great ones.
Also, from the last topic that we just spoke about, if people could send their opinions in on those.
Always.
For most mind-blowing facts as well.
Yeah, and most blind mowing facts as well.
Mainly the blind mowing.
Blind mowing facts.
Also mind-blowing. If you run out of
the
other one.
And if you could let us know, if you could send us in an email with the braille the braille for silence. It won't help because we're just running my finger across my screen. Go on.
I'm gonna. Can I randomly throw out a fact that I learned the other day?
Go, why not? Fact. Random fact.
Wrong sound effects. Random fact
of the week.
I thought you were gonna leave me hanging there. Bitch. So this is. I'm gonna say this is something that I relearned the other day because my memory's terrible.
Sorry again because of that jingle. Sorry, go on.
This is something that I relearned the other day because my memory's terrible and I've forgotten it. But when I told someone, their response was, how the hell do I not know that? Right, so this is it. Grasshoppers are chilled, fairly dormant creatures, right?
Cool guys.
Cool guys. They chill, they eat some stuff, and they're quite dormant. When the population of grasshoppers gets so what happens is it rains, lots of stuff for them to eat. They eat a lot, they reproduce, and then there becomes a lot of them. Then when it turns back to being more arid, there's less rain, etc., there becomes an overcrowding of grasshoppers. Yeah. At that point, there is a breaking point which triggers a mutation of their DNA, where their legs get shortened, their color changes, their body changes, and they go from being dormant, chilled creatures to cannibalistic, swarming locusts. Grasshoppers they mutate into locusts. And they can mutate back into grasshoppers should their situation change.
What?
Okay,
So when they become cannibals, do they eat each other?
They eat each other, and it's almost like an automatic culling of their own species, because what happens is there's too many of them. They get overcrowded populations, and the gene mutates, and they completely change, and they swarm and they eat each other, right? And you know what's the maddest thing is that if once it gets to the point where they've eaten enough of each other and there's no overcrowding anymore, they can mutate back into grasshoppers again. Their length of their front legs changes, their body color changes, their mentality changes, and they go back to being chilled, dormant grasshoppers again. And not only just that, there are specific parasites, that exist that can cause the locusts to mutate back into grasshoppers. So there are certain parasites that can bite them, and it causes them from locusts to turn back into dormant grasshoppers again, like chill grasshoppers.
Why does the parasite do that? To make them so that other locusts eat the dormant, the more dormant one? Because if you're not cannibalistic, you're more likely to be eaten. You get eaten, they eat the parasite, and then that carries on. Wouldn't that make sense? If you
That does make sense. That does make sense. But it wasn't something you. I
did not know. I'd never heard that before.
I honestly thought that locusts were just completely different species to grasshoppers. That was what, or like a.
I just thought different animal,
or like maybe in the same family, but like a different. Man, when I heard that, I was like, wait, what?
Jeez.
But the fact that they and this is the thing I need to double check. If anyone knows this, please let us know. One thing I haven't figured out or found out is how long it takes for them to mutate. I don't know if it's over a course of a day, an hour, a week.
I would love to know. I'd love to know. Or is it like a generational thing? Because I don't know how quick.
No, it's not generational. Brother, it happened. It's circumstantial, so it happens because of their living situation. So it will happen very quickly. It would happen over the course of, let's say, somewhere between an hour and a week. I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Do not quote me. I'm not trying to take David Attenborough's job here. I'm just.
Sean, sorry, I'm looking at pictures of this as we go. I've got to say, the grasshopper looks so chill and nice. The locust looks war ready.
Oh, 100%.
Like they look.
Bro, you know what it is? It's almost like a zombie human compared to a normal zombie. A normal human.
Yeah, it is. It is, man.
Like they literally they get like bloodlust, and then they get super aggressive and start killing and eating their own kind. It's like, wow, isn't it?
Kind of like 28 years later, the new film that's coming up. 28 days later. Yeah, there's a new film coming out 28 years later. They've done 28 days later, 28 weeks later, and 28 years later.
Can I just put it out there? I'm not very into horror films, but 28 days later was, because the zombies were sprinting, was terrifying.
They changed.
Amazing film. Terrifying.
I don't know, because I'm not a horror film expert, but I feel like for me, zombies before were like,
they changed the genre to a degree, no?
Yeah.
Like,
so technically it's the rage virus.
The rage. You know what? There's always one bit in it which I remember. There's a bit in it where the guy, he looks up.
Oh.
You know the bit I'm talking about, innit? And it's like,
get away from me!
It's a pigeon or something, innit?
It's like a rage pigeon or has a drop of blood. It's pecking at someone, at a corpse, and he looks up, and then
the one drop goes into his eye, innit?
And then you turn. That's it. And you remember old zombies would turn like over a day or so. Like even in The Last of Us, it's like you go to sleep and wake up a zombie. This rage virus affects you in seconds, and you see him go like, "Get away from me!"
It's more like the locusts.
Oh my gosh.
See, this grasshopper locust thing.
There we go.
So
Shout out to
this
Danny
is
Board, a
it.
little bit of science that backs it up. But yeah, Sean, thank you for the fact of the week.
there we go.
I appreciate that,
No
bro.
worries, man.
Thank you, man. Right. Before we bounce out of here, I guess it's time to do our killer bit, innit, Sean?
Yes, indeed.
And that is every week we talk about how we've been killing time. Sometimes it's stuff that we go out and do. Sometimes it's events. Sometimes it's an app.
Mainly, it's Reacher and Slow Horses.
Mainly it's Jack Reacher, Slow Horses, and The Night Agent. Which, Sean, you've got me into.
Yeah.
Because check this for a side note, right? The Night Agent has a book, which the series was based on, and I don't know why I've not even finished the first season. No, I've just finished the first season, and I thought, let me go and read the book. But I also got it on Audible as well. Listen to it. The same narrator that narrates the Jack Reacher books narrates the Night Agent book. So I'm just like, are you kidding me? Yeah, it's wicked. It's wicked. Right.
All right, you're gonna have to once you finish the audio book. I would very much like to have for you to let us know.
It's good so far. There are some differences. I've done the whole first season, and the book is the first season.
So you've watched the whole first season series, and you've listened to the whole.
I'm like third into the book. Third into the book, listen and read it. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's not. I do like. I think I like what they've done with the characters in the live action version.
Okay.
I mean, it made some tweaks, but the casting is really good. And are you through second season and third season? No, second season, because third is about to come out, right?
Yes, I've done the first two seasons.
Cool. So I'm in the part of the second season where he's where I was like, oh, hang on, I thought you were in a different situation ship, but then it all makes sense. But yeah, so I saw that. So he's been away at the start of the second season. This doesn't spoil it. Second season, he's been away for 10 months, I think. So I'm there. I'm very early on, but I'm doing the book as well. Anyway, Sean, sorry. How have you been killing time this week, bro?
Well, I thought we will talk briefly about this product that was very kindly sent to us last week, and it is from a company called Astari. And as you know, previously, I was bugging you for a while because I was thinking about purchasing one of these. And for anyone that doesn't know, this is, let me just open it up here, a payment ring and tag that comes along with it. And so this is a NFC payment ring and tag, meaning that when you are out and about, and I'm going to explain my reasons why I think this is a good product. That happens to me, if you're out and about and you mainly, and I think most people do nowadays, use their phone and less so bring their cards with them nowadays to pay for everything. If you're out on a night out, for instance, and your phone dies, you might be in a spot of bother at that point. And so for me, what this does from a perspective of backup is the nicest safety net that you can have. So this little chap here, this little ring here, very comfortable, very lightweight, and you just use it as you would your phone. You just tap it on anywhere. You can use it for entrance to TfL, and buses and tubes and trains, supermarket, anywhere that you would normally tap your device. And because it doesn't have a battery in it, same way that your card doesn't have a battery in it, it can never run out. You can always get home. You can get cabs. You can go and buy food, water. You can go, if you're in Jack Reacher, you can go and buy a burner phone to make a call. Do you know what I mean? Like you can just get out of trouble. And the other one, which is the tag here, is just a key ring. I'll give you that. It's just a key ring. And again, like I have that now. You can have that on your keys. And again, when you go out, you're always going to need your keys. Unless you have a maid or a butler at home to open the door for you.
Can't speak for anything.
But otherwise, having one on your keys, I find super useful. You might not wear the ring, but going out, it's just in a world where we use our digital devices which have batteries on them, because I know people that are like, I always have to have my power bank with me because if my phone dies, then do you know what I mean? I don't want to have to bring my wallet, etc., etc. So yeah, for the past week or so, I'm testing it out on a day-to-day. It's quite. I've had it a few times as well where I've paid for things and people have been like,
Damn.
How did you just do that? You know, one of them ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the whole, going to the tube station, not having to get your phone out. I will say this as well. In winter, that is going to be having to take your glove off, get your phone out, unlock it, put it on the. You can have a pair of gloves on, have the ring underneath the glove. You know what I mean?
Hopefully, that'll be a good test.
It does.
It does.
It does. Yeah, because I put like a piece. I didn't put my gloves on, but I had a glove, and I just put it near the sensor to see if it impacted it at all. Because what they actually tell you to do is that ideally the ring should be more flat. So if on the reader, it would ideally be like that. So what they say to do is to make a fist, and let's say this is the reader in the tube station. You would actually put your hand like that, and you just leave it there for a second. I would say this: the first handful of times that I used it, I had my phone ready because I didn't want to be like there and people behind me being, get stressed out. It was very easy to set up. Very briefly, you do need two applications. You download one, which is the Curve wallet, and then you have another application, which is called.
So you need it's a Curve. You need to have Curve set up.
Curve. Okay. So you have in the UK, you have a Curve wallet, and then you will add your card to the Curve wallet. You then download an app called Manage Me. Me, and that will link the device. So what Curve does is you add, let's say you add your debit or credit card, it will then create a card for you, a Curve card, which will have completely different numbers expiry than the card that you've just put on. You can actually order that physical card should you want it, but then you put those details over into the other application. It links your device. I put my tag and the ring. It's been quite fun, to be honest.
And the tag and the ring are one thing. They one account. They work off one account.
But you can do it. You can link your ring and your tag to two different cards, which is also useful.
You just go back to Curve, make another card or account.
But no, on the Manage Me app, Manage Me, you can see all the devices. You can scroll across, so you can have 3 rings and 3 different tags, and you can link them all to different cards. Should you want to do that? Little bits of info. There've been a few times where I've gone to tap it and it hasn't picked it up. But I would say that is indicative of the technology that sometimes you put your phone and then you've got to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't happen often. But there's that. But it just, when you don't have anything in your hand, for some reason you feel a bit like people looking at you being like, what the hell is this guy doing?
If I saw you trying to play knock knock on a card reader, I'm like, bruv,
man's got to go to work. Get on.
Like a second at the card reader too long in rush hour. That is
1 second.
That's one way to piss off a British person. Just
do that and then stand right at the top of the escalator. But on a whole, just paying for stuff. I think it's it's a safety thing. You don't have to take your phone out when it's unnecessary to do so. It has a limit of £150, which is quite a high limit.
So you cannot put more on that.
No. So what will happen is up to £150 you can tap. Mm-hmm. Anything after £150, it will ask you to put a PIN code in on the application, on the app.
So you tap.
You will tap and it will go bloom on your phone and it will ask you for a PIN. So if you were trying to tap for like 5Gs, it would... actually, you wouldn't be able to tap 5Gs. You have a max on your bank. You probably have a max transaction.
Yeah, but
whatever it is.
A £200.
Actually, you would be able to
meal at a restaurant, £200, which in the UK at this moment in time is probably just starters.
Yeah. That's what I had to say. I had to say. So tap to 150 if you want to make a much larger payment. Let's be honest. If you were going to go and spend £5,000 or something, you probably just tap your phone, or you probably have to put your PIN in. In that sense. I would say one thing, man. This is and we did have to send off our measurements for the ring.
Yeah, we did.
But honestly, I don't like.
So sorry, Sean. Just to clarify, so we're at a restaurant. It's £200 bill. You tap, the card machine is processing, and it will be like going authorizing, and then in that time you have to okay it in the app. And I presume if you don't, it doesn't. It just says void. And by that time we've already run out of the restaurant.
Yeah. Sorry, have you got another card machine that you could just go into the back and get?
Yeah,
Well,
okay,
bring it
cool.
out. You're like, no, you go.
Sorry, I just wanted to double check that and double confirm that, because that is, it's a small build, but I'd like the opportunity to choose my own fate by choosing my own limits. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fine, but I want to pick my own limits now. And I think now with payment services, I remember when we first did contactless, it was limited to £20 or £30. Do you remember? But now you can contact a mortgage for your house if your bank's prepared for it. If you've got, like you said, if you've got the authorization, you can tap whatever you want. So yeah, that's interesting.
I will say
would
this.
like that tweak.
I do think that the £150 limit is actually more than what I expected it to be out of the box. I thought it might have been 100 or maybe 75 quid, but I think what's good is that if, let's say, your phone dies completely, you're out and about, that you can, for a single payment of 150, you can get home in it.
Yeah, you can.
Do you know what I mean? Unless you're in another country and therefore you should have planned better in it. But otherwise, do you know what I mean? You're like, I can't get a flight home right now because, but otherwise 150 will get you, you can tap in a black cab. You know what I mean? You can get out of trouble with a maximum payment of 150. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're like an hour and a half away, black cab.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should still be able to get home. So I really like it there have been times when I've been out where I've had some apprehension and been looking at my battery being like, I've got like 17% left. If I don't get a Uber in the next 15 or 20 minutes, my phone's going to die and then I'm going to be a little bit stuffed. Because I would be able to tap if I usually have my cards on me, so I'd be able to tap for a black cab. But to wait for it depends what ends you're in, innit? If you're in Central, you're probably fine. If you're in arsehole of nowhere, probably not. Little bugbears, because I have NFC turned on my phone.
Right.
When I pick my phone up with the hand that I have the ring on, the phone reads the ring and prompts you to visit its website.
Okay. All right.
So at that moment, at this time, that's the only thing for me which I'm finding a little bit annoying. But, if you turned your NFC off, then you can't use your phone to tap. So that means, okay, that's fine as long as you have your ring with you. If you wear your ring every day, then it's cool. But for me, I would also prefer to leave my NFC on because I'm also fairly used to just tapping my phone on stuff, and I like to have it as a backup in case I'm like at the station for those extra seconds.
I think there's two environments, and I don't know if you tested. There's two environments where I think I'd have a use case for this. One is like a last chance device, so it's something that I'm on holiday. Right? So say like I said to Sean, and obviously, no, I'm not going to say any country because that's a bit mean, but we're in a country where we know that it's an away game, innit? So it's not as safe as if it's a home game. That's the rule. That's what it is. So we go out and we have 100 of whatever the local currency is in our pocket, and I don't want anything else on me really. Maybe a phone because my phone's insured, right? But I don't want any other tech on me or anything. Battery dies. We're in the middle of nowhere. We need to get home, like you said, or at least a drink, or at least we need some money, whatever to do to get out of it. You need money. You can't just beg in it and get me. And I'm not up for selling myself to get to where I need to get to it. But we need something. So for me in that environment, the ring and the tag, fantastic, because you could at least go to a shop and if there's a shop, make a payment and get 10 of whatever the local currencies or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And then use that to make a phone call or whatever like that. So I like it for that. And also, I'd like to go out on a night out, and that is all I'm going to spend. I want to limit myself to whatever's, because I presume you put money on the Curve card and that's all you can spend, right?
What?
Wow, I was going to say.
No, because the way that it does it with Curve is that it links your card, so you could do unlimited transactions. £150 is the max single transaction you can do. Right. Whether or not you can, that'll be interesting. Whether or not on the Curve, because I'm going to go ahead and guess for the on the Curve app, I believe you can set limits. I'm going to guess you can. I haven't tested that out. Don't quote me 100% on that, but I would find it a little bit. I would say I'd find it a little bit wild if you weren't able to do that. If anyone knows for sure, let us know. Otherwise, I will have a look to see if that's the case. But I think you would be able to say like, all right, I'm going to put. But then it takes away your safety net, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, I put 150 quid and then you leave and you're like, oh, I spent it all on drinks, can't get home now. At least I'm tanked up though, isn't it?
I'd probably have it as the site. I'd have it when my ring stops ringing. When my ring stops working.
Time to go home.
Time to go home. Yeah.
Tag on with a different card.
A tag is my lot. So when the ring runs out, that's when I make one payment with the tag and go home. Last round, because obviously it's my round, innit? I can't just be like, sorry guys, so I'll get the round, get out. Yeah. So yeah, man. Like I think I'm gonna try it out as well. I'm gonna have a go on it as well. I do think if they could make the bills for them, if they could make the process, hopefully when they get more established, a little less one app than two app than whatever, like one app from them. But I do like using the Curve app to start this because I feel like that does create a layer of safety.
Exactly that.
Because it's a second account. Like, so it's both ways, isn't it? Like, ideally, I'd be like, why can't I? Some people will be like, why can't I just sign up on Astari's app, do it all, have it connected to my credit card or my card, and go from there? But for me personally, I do like having that little extra. I will say this on the Manage Me app, you can just put your card into it, but I followed because for instance, when you tap the ring on your phone, it will come up with the website. Once you go, it will explain how to do it. Yeah. And as I said previously, like if you refer to my previous email, it will create a dummy card on the Curve app, which, as you said, gives a buffer. Yeah, it feels like a layer of security, cybersecurity, and I'm about that when it's to do with payments and such. Yeah, I like that. So, like I said, it's a double-edged sword, that, innit? Because whenever I put my like, unless it's a big company like Amazon or a high street store or whatever, whenever I'm making a payment online, I'm very cautious because you're right to be. Scams happen, bro. You're right to be. Scams happen, bro. Do you get me? All the time. Well, oh, wow. Side note, check this for a scam. My bro got a text the other day saying, hi, it's my mum. I'm just texting off another phone because I've dropped my phone down the toilet. And he called my mum straight away saying, are you all right? Like, you dropped your phone? But it was as start of a scam to be like, I've dropped my phone. Can you do whatever I like? Or I'm on someone else's phone. Can you send me money or whatever? Mad, bro. All the time, just out of nowhere. Do you know how it's got to that point now where when there are good scams, I'm like impressed. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Let's do anything. I feel so, and I've apologised before. I apologise again to my bank. My bank did call me about a transaction. It did look a bit ski whiff, but the way they called me, the guy said like a couple of times. I was like, I'm not having this scam. Do one. And I used some ruder language, and they were like. Oh, well, there's no need to be like that, sir. And I said, well, I'm going to call you back and see if you're real because I know you're fake. Call back. Oh, hi. It was a legit call. And I was like, can I speak to the other person and say hi? They were like, one moment. They're like, sorry, he's busy at the moment. I was like, he's not busy. He's like, I'm not talking to that arsehole. So I'm sorry, bank, for doing that. Can I just say as well, is that one of the things you have to be very careful of is, I heard this again the other day on a scam, which there was 3 people arrested for impersonating cops. But what they would do is they would get you to call back. They would say, look, we want to make sure this is not a scam. Please just call 999. Mm-hmm. Immediately we'll come off the phone so you know that we're legitimate. And they're like, oh yeah. But what they do is they don't hang up. So the line stays and you think that you're dialing in, and then they've got someone who... Hello? Yeah, and then they pick it up. Different voice. Yeah. Oh my God. So you have to be... Scammers be scamming, man. You got to be careful. It is, man. You got to be careful out there. But again, like, this is all... I think this is a layer of security. Ring, and you know what, Sean? Ring looks nice as well. Not too... I will say this. I'm not a pling-plingy guy anyway. I will say this. It's quite thin, not so girthy. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, because sizing came out all right as well. Sizing's perfect. It's very comfortable. Yeah. One thing as well, it's very like there has been quite a few times where I've gone, I've scratched the sheet out of it, and then I've looked at it and gone, oh no, we'll come back to it. It's actually milled. It's milled fairly nice, and the inside of it's very smooth, so it's comfortable. Keep talking. I'll hold it up to the camera and you talk on the shirt to them as well before we bounce. No, honestly, like, and I will say this as well. I have rings, but I only wear rings like
on occasion because I find wearing rings on the whole a little bit uncomfortable. Like I know some people that wear bare rings, and for me, I find it. I mean, this is actually
It's nice.
I haven't been like, oh, it's annoying. Yeah.
Looks cool, man. Well, there you go. And also, just to be clear, we're not going to pay for that. That's editorial. No. There you go. So check that out. We'll put a link to that in the show description. Get me. Right, Sean, we've got to bounce, man. Don't forget, if you want to send your jokes in, send them into jokes@howtokillanhour.com, and we may or may not read them out on our punishment episode where everyone gets punished with some puns, man. Sean, thanks for that review. That was really in-depth. I appreciate that. I'm going to whip out my Astari and have a go. Quickly before we go, do we mention that they send you a ring measuring thing first, you measure your finger, and then you send off for it? We didn't. But that's how they do that bit of it, by the way, just to be clear. Yeah, I think that's it for now. We'll see you next time. Enjoy yourself. Big up yourself. And big up Linda as well. Yeah.